spoken. Velvet voice.
Slide on in. You're tuned in to the Black Deth 101 podcast, where the streets talk and the reels roll. This is more than a podcast, baby. It's a revolution with rhythm.
Now let's get into it!
Welcome to the Black Deth 101 podcast, where the streets talk and the reels roll. We dissect our favorite Blaxploitation films that saved Hollywood and still influence it today. I am your host, Nubius Black, and giving him 5 on the right-hand side, my brother from another mother, Johnny Deth. What's up, man? Good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Everyone's doing great. And cool cats, you guys should slide in, dim the lights, pull up a chair. It's time for our final visit to the Academy Awards, because tonight we're stepping out of the grindhouse streets of the 1970s for a minute and into a very different kind of horror movie. Jordan Peele's Get Out. I love this movie, and I know it hit home for you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it did. This movie is literally autobiographical for a lot of black men in America, minus the hypnosis and the brain transference. But we were being hypnotized by other things, and our brains were being put in other places. But Jordan Peele put a spin on it to make it even more entertaining, but no less scary.
All right. Well, should you give them the spoiler alerts? Because they're going to be spoilers tonight.
Yeah. I wish I got these spoiler alerts years ago in life. I wouldn't have went through what I went through. And if I would have got those spoiler alerts, I think things would have turned out a little different. But you learn, you live, you learn, all that. But yeah, this is spoiler alerts for those who didn't see this movie. We're going to be talking about it and giving you the lowdown. We're going to be using a lot of racially charged language, because this is an important racially charged film, especially for the era that it came out in and what preceded it afterwards. This was not no 70s right on, Blaxploitation flick per se, but the essence of Blaxploitation is in this film, because literally in this film, the black characters are being exploited in the big motherfucking way. So you got to sit back and just check this film out for yourself if you haven't seen it. And if you did see it again after when we talk about this, and ask some of your brothers and sisters out there, did they go through this? Because I'm going to tell you some little anecdotes throughout this podcast of the shit I went through. And really, I put it in the back of my mind when I finally was, I call emancipated, if you will. And then it never left. It always popped up, and then my son became of age and he started dating, and he brought home a young white lady, and it's a totally different experience. At least from my point of view, when it comes to black families seeing their sons date a white woman and bringing that woman home, we have a whole different way of handling shit. It's not what you would think. You would think it'd be a lot of cussing and yelling and get out of my house type of shit, but all the time, man. My parents were always cool in the gang with whoever I took home, but they always gave me the caution speech. Of course, I was young, as they say, young, dumb, and full of cum. I didn't want to really hear it. My dad was like, "You're gonna fucking know. You will know when we get done talking to you. You better hope this never happens, but chances are it will." Because my dad went through it, and he was dating a black woman, but she passed as white. Still, I was young and I didn't want to listen. And just like Chris in this film, played by the great Daniel Kaluuya, he didn't want to listen either.
Mm-hmm.
Give him the lowdown.
To understand this movie, you got to understand where America was in 2017. America was a country standing in front of a cracked mirror. For 8 years, the nation had lived through the presidency of Barack Obama, a moment many people saw as proof that America had finally turned the corner on race. But when the 2016 election hit, that mirror shattered. Suddenly, the conversations people thought were settled were back on the table. Race, identity, fear, resentment. Some folks were celebrating a new political order, and others felt like the country had stepped backwards 50 years overnight. Cable news was screaming, social media was on fire, families were fighting at the dinner table, and right in the middle of that moment, a young filmmaker named Jordan Peele stepped up and did something slick. Instead of making a lecture, he made a horror film, because horror has always been one of the smartest ways to talk about the things America doesn't want to say out loud. Back in the 70s, the filmmakers we talk about on this show used exploitation cinema to crack open social issues. Movies like Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, Blackula, and Shaft took the energy of the streets and put it right up on the screen. Jordan Peele understood that tradition. He just updated the method because the racism he wanted to talk about didn't wear a hood. It wore a smile. It said things like, I would have voted for Obama a third time if I could have.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It invited you to the suburbs to meet the family, to relax, and then to discover something very wrong was waiting inside that house. That brings us to this movie, Get Out, released in 2017, written and directed by Jordan Peele, a horror film. It's a satire, social thriller, and one of the sharpest pieces of modern America genre filmmaking you're going to find ever. So tonight on Black Deth 101, we're stepping into the suburbs where the lawns are perfect, the smiles are friendly, and the nightmare is hiding right behind the teacup. The movie opens on a quiet suburban street at night. It's very has the feel of John Carpenter's Halloween, and Peele has said that was purposeful. A young black man walks alone. His name is Andre. He's talking on the phone, uneasy, and you can feel it. He says something that I think every black viewer likely understood instantly. Man, this neighborhood is creepy. That wasn't because it was dangerous. It was quiet,
Right.
too white, too controlled. And suddenly a car pulls up. I think it was a white car.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And Andre, he tries to run, but it's too late. He's kidnapped. He's dragged away just like that. The movie tells you the rules. Something very wrong is happening in the suburbs. Now we meet our main man, Chris. Chris is a photographer. He lives in Brooklyn. He's a quiet guy. He's observant. He's the kind of cat that studies the room before speaking. He's dating a white woman named Rose Armitage. And this weekend, Chris is going to go meet her parents. Now, I think any interracial couple knows this moment.
Yeah, this once it started, again, it started like you said, very John Carpenter Halloweenish. It had that same look. It was the quiet, eerie perfection of it all, of the Leave It to Beaver neighborhood, of the neighborhood that was in the
Yes.
Twilight Zone. Remember the Twilight Zone episode where everybody
Mhm.
had a perfect neighborhood, but they were afraid of these motorcycle bikers, and they were thinking, what the fuck why are these bikers by this house in our neighborhood? It had that look to it. But I digress about horror movies. Horror movies in general are escapism, right? And they're like a mechanism for you to learn something, or sometimes they're just plain old entertainment. You're counting the body count, if you will, and enjoying the creative kills. This movie is way, way, way more deep. And it wasn't preachy. It basically was telling Jordan Peele's story. Jordan Peele is a black man married to a white woman. He has a white mother. His father's black. He's in a white business of Hollywood where they pigeon-toed him into comedy, and he broke out with this movie. So I can do things that are more than just funny. I can make it scary and make you think. And for me, I have never been chased. I don't know if you have. You might have. You a white dude. You might have been chased by a killer at a campground wearing a hockey mask. Me, never happened. I never felt bad about going into a church thinking that, the devil's going to show up or some shit like that, or be stalked or hunted by a masked killer on Halloween. They were not fears for me. And they're not fears for most black men. Black men are afraid of the everyday. And that's the fact. This movie was about the everyday. And then once we put our guard down, and I don't care if it's just a psychosexual thing where you see a white woman and you're like, yo, man, I want to hit that. Or maybe it's something deeper and y'all have a connection and you have feelings for her. You got it in the back of your mind. This is not going to end well. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck if you married right now, listen to this, and you were married to a person of the opposite sex. You cannot tell me one time that you didn't at least think, this may not end well. Because you will lose family on your side. You may even lose family on the other side. Just because you're in love with a person that they think you shouldn't be with. And in this movie, wow, it's just crazy. This movie, has him dating a white woman, and he has to deal with the inherited challenges that's in this. Because he even asked, why, did you tell your parents I'm black? And she said no. And that was like a bell. It was like a Pavlov's bell with me. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. I had that conversation. And that's what I call the ambush. And it's like, no, they don't know, but we're invited for dinner at Christmas. And I told the girl I was dating at the time, that is not a good idea. Christmas is like everybody has their own little deal when it comes to Christmas, their own little, what I'm thinking about that,
Yeah.
your own ways
Their own little rituals.
rituals and things like that. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure their ritual didn't involve a 6-foot-tall black man just standing at the door, and I'm not Sidney fucking Poitier. So I'm standing there, I was invited, and I got to, dude, the acting in this is almost like I felt violated in a way because I felt like they followed me, that they seen this happen in the late 80s and early 90s, and they were like, yo, this is going to make a great movie one. Because, dude, everything, I went through all that. Sitting there very uncomfortable, making uncomfortable conversation, having people want to touch my hair, rub my skin. What sports do you like? Shit like that. Everything that happened in this movie happened. But my fear was real. I ain't saying that his in the movie wasn't, because it was real in his character, because the movie wasn't real. My fear was, do you like cars? And my dad was a mechanic, so I knew a little bit of something. My dad always says, know a little bit about everything. That way you can have a conversation with anyone. So
you're gonna bond over cars.
Exactly. So so her father talked to me about cars, and he tells her, oh, me and Nubius gonna go outside. I'm gonna show him my new car. It was called dude. I know a little about cars, not that much, but this car was called a Grand National, and it was hot back in them days. Everybody wanted one of these big fucking cars, Chevy, I believe. He's telling me everything this car can do, and he's pointing at it, and we're walking around it, and I am just trying to, go along to get along. That should be in every black man's headstone. He went along to get along. And look where it got him. So I'm trying to go along to get along. And he was very friendly man. And as a man, you can tell when you're being sized up. And he's sizing me up. And at that time, I was not a big guy, per se. I was maybe a $175. I was a string bean of a guy. And, but I relaxed around him because I'm like, wow, he's cool with me. He brought down my defenses. Everything was pitch perfect. And then he popped open the hood and showed me the engine, and he's talking CCs and all this other bullshit that I don't know. And I'm just nodding my head like I know what he's fucking talking about. And then I'm like, well, I guess we're going to go back inside. He goes, no, I got to show you one more thing. And I said, oh, cool. He pops the trunk. God is my witness. He pops the fucking trunk. And he goes, look at that trunk. I'm like, yeah, and that's a nice trunk. He goes, how many people you think I can fit in that trunk? I said, back in the day, my dad used to put us in the trunk to go to the drive-in theater. You know, I'm thinking like he's talking like that. He goes, I can fit maybe 6 people like you in my trunk. And his whole demeanor changed. I knew exactly what he was saying. He goes, right now, my daughter's happy. The minute she's not happy, think of this trunk. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm going to go eat with these cocksuckers now? Dude, I could not wait to fucking get out of there. It was that was scary because I remember it all in vivid detail. I told you everything in detail. This happened in the fucking 86. I still can remember that. But everything that happened there, I'll throw some more fucking ditties at you throughout this show, but that was the beginning of the relationship. So imagine things that I find out going forward. I was with this woman for maybe 5, 6 years. It fucked up every relationship I had afterwards, not because of me, reliving that stuff, because I kind of put it in the back pocket in my brain. But every girl I dated afterwards compared herself to the girl I dated before, because they were only noticing the outside. They noticed her physicality, and she was gorgeous. She was beautiful. This was the girl, pardon my French, she could use her white privilege, was her super fucking power. You hear me? Superpower.
I do.
We went into all black clubs, which I did not want to do. Not because of her. I wasn't a club guy. But she would just go in there and goes, he's with me. What the fuck? Who says that? And they would part like she was fucking Moses. Girls weren't jealous of her. They wanted to be around her. And then you've been around enough black dudes to know if you're doing something right, we give each other the silent head tilt. You know what I mean? Like, yep, you got it. And that's all I would get. I would get the silent head tilt. And I still didn't know the interactions and the machinations of a white privilege or just what her family was all about. But I was soon to find out. But let's get back to this film, and I'll jump back into that later.
Okay, so they're going to go meet the parents for the weekend, and not dissimilar to you, he asks her, do they know I'm black? And she's like, they don't care. They're progressive. On the drive to Rose's parents' house, they call their friend Rod, Chris's buddy Rod, who is, in my opinion,
The hero of the film.
MVP of the movie. Man, that was Lil Rel Howery. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I love him. Lil Rel. So on the drive to Rose's parents' house, the movie gives us one of its most important symbols. A deer runs across the road. It almost looks like it's thrown across the road, gets hit by the car. This affects Chris. They pull the car over. Chris walks over to where the deer is lying in the woods dying. He walks up to it slowly and he watches. He stares at it as this deer is helpless. It can't move. It gasps. It's struggling. It tries to live and then fades away. And this moment, it really matters because later we're going to learn something about Rose's father, Dean Armitage. He hates deer. He calls them pests. He says they're overpopulated, says someone should wipe them out. To him, deers are a problem that needs solving, and the idea echoes through the entire movie. But more than that deer and Chris kind of switch places as the movie goes on.
That deer was the allegory for black people. I mean, if you replace the word deer with black, Dean Armitage, played by Bradley Whitford, is basically saying that with a smile on his motherfucking face. Also, Again, you can't tell me, even as a white man, you weren't screaming at the screen going, don't get out the car and go see what that deer is doing. That's a
No,
white girl move.
don't.
That was the white girl move.
Exactly. Oh, man. And you're right. Dean Armitage, who's the same actor that is one of the technicians, the main technicians in the
Yes.
movie Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
He plays one of the scientists, the one that sneaking hits off a flask in the recent Godzilla King of the Monsters. He's
Exactly.
everywhere.
He's a good actor, man.
He's
Everybody, the acting in this
fantastic.
film is off the chart. I never heard of Catherine
Everyone.
Keener. I never heard of her, the Missy Armitage character. But Caleb Landry
Yeah.
Jones, he played Banshee in X-Men First Class. You remember that?
That's who that is.
Yeah, that's fucking Banshee.
That's who that asshole was.
Yes.
Damn it.
And Lil Rel, you can't tell me Lil Rel doesn't remind you of DJ Academics, our friend.
Oh, hell
That's
yeah.
him. Because that's what he would say. Like he spoke in his diction, he spoke in his style, and when I watch it all the time, I think of our man DJ Academics, Axe Murder. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
That this was you talking to me 25 years ago. And the ironic part, he was a security guard at the time.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
oh, that's just the
Yes,
same
sir.
as TSA in a way.
Oh my God, he was a security guard and he wore his uniform like he was a cop and shit. Oh, too funny. Too funny.
As you were saying, Dean Armitage, Rose's dad, he sees black bodies the same way as he sees the deer. Not so much as people, but as resources, something
Yes.
to harvest. So Chris and Rose, they get to this big fucking suburban house, huge lawn. And earlier, he actually says to her, I hope they're progressive because I don't want to be running across a lawn from a shotgun.
Right.
That kind of echoes a little bit later. So we meet the parents. Dean is friendly. He's eager, maybe too eager to prove just how liberal he is. These people, they say things like the aforementioned, I would have voted for Barack Obama a third time, and I love Tiger Woods. It's just, the type.
Oh, don't I?
Then there's Missy. Yeah, Rose's mother, psychiatrist, calm voice, hypnotic presence, polite, but there's something really off about her. And we meet the brother, Banshee. I'm sorry, Jeremy. Jeremy is different because he doesn't have the fake liberal talk. He's a little drunk. He's kind of aggressive. He talks about genetics and physical superiority.
He's a white supremacist, straight up.
Yeah, he says the quiet shit out loud, man. Oh, fuck. And then Chris meets the house staff. He meets Grandma and Grandpa. Oh, wait, no, that's a spoiler. 2 black servants. Walter, the groundskeeper, and Georgina, the housekeeper. Now, there's something really odd about both of them. They speak very stiffly. They smile at the wrong times. They move weird. It's like they're pretending to be human, and Chris tries talking to
Very
them.
Stepford-wise, right?
Oh,
They
very
come off very
Stepford-wise.
Stepford-wise.
I hate to bounce a little bit forward, but there are a lot of characters, black characters in this movie that are either wearing a wig or a hat because
Yep.
they're hiding their hairline. There's that one point. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Well, there's the Rod knows. He knows.
He knows something is wrong.
Yeah, he works for the TSA. He's also the only guy in the movie whose instincts are working perfectly, even though the audience thinks it's just comedy relief. Chris is telling Rod once he finally gets his phone charged, because someone keeps unplugging it, about the weird weekend. And Rod, he comes back like, man, white people are kidnapping black folks and making them sex slaves. And it's hilarious. But here's the genius of Jordan Peele. Rod's crazy theory is actually closer to the truth than Chris or me, that first viewing, realized. And that night, Chris can't sleep. He goes outside, and Walter almost knocks him down running. And earlier, there was a picture of Dean's father, Grandpa Armitage, and he was an Olympic runner who lost out to Jesse Owens and never got to go to the Olympics. So if he were still alive, he might still be trying to beat that time.
And what
I
did they
think.
say? He'd get over it. And he goes, no, not really. He says it just
Yeah.
calm. Not really. He never got over it.
Yeah. In fact, during the tour, when we meet Georgina, the maid, she's in the kitchen, and we meet her just as Dean says, my mother loved the kitchen, so I always thought we should keep a piece of her here.
Oh my God. Everything that's said in this movie is telling you, it is literally lining up the fucking pins for you. Once you see it the first time and then go back in a second, you're going to go, holy shit, they're telling us exactly what the fuck is going on, but we don't know, which is great writing and great acting. It's basically like my favorite films. I just said The Stepford Wives. Love the original version of that. Stepford Wives was always an incredible film. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original and the 70s version. Oh, God, I love the 70s version. I love those type of movies.
I like every version except the one with Nicole Kidman, which
Yes, you
really has no
nailed it.
right to
You
be
nailed it.
related to those.
Pod People.
So Chris is outside. He looks at Georgina in the window, and she makes a gesture with her hand that the first time I thought she was kind of waving at him, but she's kind of showing him her hairline. She's waving her hand right over where her hairline is,
Yeah.
as if to say, something's going on here just under the wig. Missy finds him wandering around, and she invites him to sit down. She's just relaxing with a cup of tea. She offers to help him quit smoking because, she's a hypnotist person, and he doesn't think he can be hypnotized. She taps a spoon against the teacup and very gently is stirring that tea, tapping the spoon,
Yep.
stirring the tea, and Chris falls. Not physically, but mentally. He drops through the chair into something called the Sunken Place. It's a dark void where Chris is awake, but he's trapped. He can watch the world through this like tiny screen. He sees Missy looking at him, but he can't control his body. He can't move, kind of like when he was looking at the deer. This is one of the most powerful metaphors in modern horror. The Sunken Place
Mm-hmm.
represents what it feels like to be silenced, to see injustice, to know what's happening, but to still be unable to do anything about it.
And the sad thing about that, and again, the Sunken Place was everything you just said in reality, but there's also an allegory of when you are, and I'm saying this as my personal experience, when you are in an interracial relationship as a black man and any other race besides a black woman, obviously, or a black man if you run that route, you literally are put in that sunken place. And that sunken place didn't have a name when I was there. It was basically you have to take what is essentially you and pack it away around these people just so you can try to fit in and not offend these people because you want to be with this man or woman and you're willing to do that. Sometimes you're not willing to do it and you do it anyhow. And that is the deal. People talk about, now it's called the sunken place, but when I was growing up, you're being whipped. And I didn't know
Yeah.
what that meant at the time. And my dad was the most raw individual in the world. He goes, don't let that pussy lead you astray. I would just smile like, yeah, pops, I'm that guy, that was back in your day. This is, the modern day ain't like that. No, it's still that way. Trust me, it is that way. It's damaging if you cannot get yourself back because you are literally, it's a symbolism of this film. You're losing yourself. It is shown, and it's terrifying. Not only are you losing yourself, you know it. And like this
Yeah.
movie, these people are losing themselves and they're just along for the ride. Someone else is controlling the body, they're steering. Your mind is there, but there's nothing you really can do. And if you watch in this film, little cracks of their great experiment show up where you can see where the original personality is trying to fight to get out. It just can't.
Oh, yes.
And that's how it is in real life too. You know, you want to be like, straight up, there was times I wanted to go, "Will you fucking crackers just stop acting like this? This is crazy," you know? But again, I was whipped, man. Literally. I and as an older man now, I can see, wow, why didn't no one tell me? But they did. My dad told me this shit. My friends who would go, "Yo, man," they would hear my ex's car pull up. It was like a Pavlovian experience. They heard the car and they just walked away and left me because they knew, you know, there was nothing they could say that was going to stop me from getting in that car. I was whipped.
Right.
I was totally mind, body, and soul. They had me.
She whipped you and put you in line. Her dad whipped you. You know what? Sometimes us white boys dating the wrong white girl also get burned. I
I
remember I
bet.
was dating this girl. I'm just going to use her middle name, Andrea. And I go up to meet her dad. Her dad's a lawyer, just retiring. To introduce myself to him, I actually had a tie on because it was like grad night or something. He said, I'm proud to meet you, but you know what? And I go, what? He goes, and this is it when Dawn stepped away. Well, there I said her first name. What the hell? So she steps away and he says, I knew your dad. I go, yeah? My dad died when I was like 13. He goes, yeah, I sued that bum. Yeah. So I
You
felt
already,
fucking
so you
burned
right
at
there,
that
you already
moment.
know you right, but you behind the eight ball.
Oh, yeah.
Because Chris was behind the eight ball.
The minute she would walk out of the room, he would make sure I knew that he didn't like me and he thought I was a bum because I was
I
making movies and that's no real job.
Right, right. And when I was dating this girl, we'll call her Carmel because that was her middle name. And I always find that as irony. What makes caramel or caramel, as some people call it? It's the boiling of water and white sugar, and it turns brown. But that was this woman's neck. That was her middle name, and here she is bringing home me.
Wow.
And the mom was that, you could tell she was very subservient to her husband, quiet and respectful, didn't want to upset, her husband and the least. Straight up, I have never met a family where the mom stood by the TV or had the remote control or whatever. She would cut the TV off whenever the commercials came on, and then she would look at her watch. She was timing the commercials because the husband did not like the commercials. How crazy is that? And I'm watching it. I'm watching this shit like, what the fuck is going on here? And the girl I'm dating, Carmel, says that, oh, dad just doesn't like commercials. I'm like, dad doesn't like a lot of shit. Of course, she had a brother named John who was just like fucking Jeremy Armitage, played by Caleb Jones. Hey man, you want to wrestle? Hey, you want to fight? You look like you play basketball. And what sports do you play? All the uncles and aunts ask me the same motherfucking question. How far could you go back on your roots? Shit like that. Or, you mind if we can touch your hair? And I'm like, all this crazy shit. And the sad thing is, I was so fucking into that sunken place, whipped, but you didn't see any lash marks on me, but my soul was fucking riddled with them. I allowed that shit. I allowed them to touch me and to probe me, to treat me like a thing. And that is what this movie is about. That black people are tools for this upper crust white privileged society. That's how I was treated. And I didn't care because you know what? I was going to go home with this beautiful fucking woman that looked at me and treated me like I was a fucking, prince, not knowing that I was in reality a pauper, but didn't want to fucking I was so not used to being in this princely exterior. I liked it. I didn't mind being abused. I didn't mind literally selling my soul to these fucking devils of people. When it finally hit me is I had to go for a ride with her one day. She goes, I got to go for a ride in my uncle's car. You can come with me. So I'm driving around. Never been in this, dude. It was straight up out of fucking one of those fucking Blaxploitation films we do. Sky blue Cadillac DeVille. Great car.
Ooh.
I'm sitting in the passenger seat smiling with this most beautiful girl in the world. This bitch could drive down the highway, do her makeup, spray her hair. I never forget, she used a hair called Aussie, a hairspray. It was a purple and white container, Australian, with a kangaroo on it. See how fucked up I am? I remember all that. She was doing eyeliner and eyelashes and hair and steering with her fucking knees, driving at 80 miles an hour while my black ass was terrified. She would never fucking, obviously she didn't crash. She would get pulled over. This is when I realized it. Cops would walk up to the car, black or white, license, registration, and insurance. And she would just smile and throw her breast out. And all of it went away. She got a warning. She got a written warning sometimes, and that was it. She drove a car with no headlights through the inspection station in New Jersey and did the same
No.
thing and got the fucking, her inspection sticker. I was just amazed. See, I just thought like, wow, maybe she's so pretty she can get away with this shit. It wasn't just that. It was the privilege and the power. She not only had the physicality, she had the vocal range to play that shit. She never played it as, oh, officer, I didn't know I was going 90. No, she goes, yeah, I was going 90. You know why we pulled you over? Yeah, because I didn't see you. She was very arrogant. And when they seen
Wow.
her name, I didn't think nothing. I didn't know. So again, we're driving in this sky blue car. We drive into the hood. Again, growing up, I am not the most streetwise individual. We're driving in the hood, and I'm like, why the fuck are we here? She goes, just walk behind me and don't say anything. So we're walking, and you got brothers out there, they're drinking their bottles, they're hitting their weed. And I'm terrified. I don't want to walk through this shit while they're shooting dice. She walked through like it was fucking nothing. They opened up the fucking doors like she was fucking Moses. Everybody partied. She knocked on the door. She said, I'm here for, I'm trying to see if I can use his name. We'll call him Jimmy. I'm here for Jimmy. Jimmy says, you got something for me? Oh, and they would just shut the door and come back and give her an envelope. So we did that 8 or 9 times. And then one person was like, oh, can you tell Jimmy I don't have it all? And I'm sitting there going, all of what? Because I'm this ignorant fucking moron with a high top fade. What the fuck do I know? And she was like, oh, that is not going to do. You're going to have to give me something. And I mean, this guy was taking off his thick gold rope chains and his fucking brass knuckle, remember the gold rings with the double knuckle jaws?
Yeah.
She gave him all this fucking collateral. And she says, we'll be back next week and you better have it all. And I'm like, what is she doing?
Wow.
And so I would ask her, what are you fucking doing? She goes, oh, nothing. She would just smile, throw those tits up, shake that ass. And my brain, it was just like them ringing that fucking teacup, dude. I got goosebumpy and I smiled and I sat in the chair and closed my eyes and thought, I am the luckiest motherfucker in the world.
Some of that reminded me that after they hit the deer, a cop comes by just to check and see what's going on. They're pulled over. They've obviously been in a little bit of an accident. He asks Chris for his driver's license, and Rose gets all upset about it. No, why? He wasn't driving. And the first time I see this, of course, I'm thinking, oh, God, she's just making it worse. On repeat viewing, I realize she doesn't want the cop to see his name
Right.
because he's going to be missing in a couple of days.
But it also shows her privilege, where
Yes.
I remember plenty of times my wife, a black woman, got pulled over with me in the passenger seat, drunk out of my mind. The cops never asked her for her ID when they pulled her over. They asked me for mine. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not driving. Why would you ask me? And it turned into a thing. And then they go, well, they take my wife and they tell her, we need you to do a sobriety check behind the car. I said, hold up. You don't want her ID, but you want mine. I'm the one that's drunk, but you want the sober person to do the sobriety check. I said, how is this making any fucking sense? I stood outside while she went to do this test. And then when I did that, the party we were at, luckily other people were leaving on that same road, pulled over and stood there and watched. And they kept asking, is everything okay? I said, well, I'll let you know in 5 minutes. The cop went on his microphone and sent us on his way. But again, all that shit in this movie happened to me. As much as I love this movie, it fucking terrifies me to no end when I watch it. I know how it's going to end. I know what the movie's about now that I've seen it 180 times. It does not make it less scary for me.
So the next day, the house fills up with guests. They're having a garden party. All these like upper class types, all white, all wealthy. They all want to meet Chris, but they don't ask about his life. They ask about his body. Is it true black people have great genetics? Are you stronger? Don't you make better athletes? This kind of shit. They're
You have the
touching him.
giant dingus.
Yeah. Is it true? They're
Is it
touching
true?
him.
No,
They're
I'm not
grabbing
Brother
his
Charles.
bicep.
It's not true.
He's literally being inspected like livestock, like that dying deer. Something shocking happens. Chris sees a guy, a black guy at the party. He's dressed strangely. He's wearing this hat, which you and I know is to cover the scar from the brain surgery. He's speaking weird, but Chris thinks he recognizes him. He thinks it's this guy, Andre. He later finds out it was. This is the guy we saw kidnapped in the opening moments of it.
Right.
But but he introduces himself as Logan King. Chris tries talking to him, but he acts like he's never met him. So he kind of sneaks a flash photo, and Logan snaps out of it. Andre inside of him manages to get a hold of some control for a moment and starts screaming, "Get out!" Then he just collapses. It's a real warning. Chris doesn't really understand it yet. He knows something's weird. He wants to get out of there. His girl seems pissed off. She goes, yeah, let's take a walk. They don't want to play bingo. But the truth begins to surface at that bingo game because that garden party, that ain't no party. It was an auction.
Yes,
The
sir.
wealthy guests, they're bidding. And they're not bidding on art, they're bidding on Chris. The winner is a blind art dealer who earlier talked to Chris, knew about his photography, and I was thinking this is the only decent guy at the party.
Exactly. Exactly. Never great red herring.
Yeah, he tells this story to Chris about I wanted to be a photographer. I kept submitting stuff till I realized I didn't have the eye. But from what I learned about you, you have it. I'm thinking, wow, Chris is going to get some photos up in this guy's gallery. He wants more than Chris's photo.
No
He wants
shit.
his life. In fact, he really cares just about one thing, his eyes, because this guy, Jim, he wants to see the world again. Chris doesn't just have the body and the eyes he wants. He's got that photographer's eye.
And Jim is blind, by the way.
Exactly.
That's when he said, I don't see color. Remember, he kept saying, I don't see color.
Yeah.
People are ignorant. They don't
Mhm.
understand what's really important. This movie is so well done and well crafted and written that it really tells you what's going to happen. And you're just along for the ride. And when you finally see it and you get to digest it, you go, oh my God, everything was there. Everything was there.
It's a scary fucking movie, man.
I think so.
Armitage family secret is finally revealed. They perform a surgery, but there's something supernatural going on because that spooky ass music cuts in, and they call the surgery, what is it? The coagula? Is that right? I
Yep.
think so.
Yep. All
Yes.
hell to coagula. And there were all this group of people were this, Wink, wink. Here we are again. Yeah, the more things change, the more they remain the same. They're this hidden fucking group of people that are in high society who are kidnapping black folks and transferring their essence into these black bodies. So, yeah,
Yes.
that sounds very Twilight Zone-ish, but the truth is even
Yeah.
scarier when you think about it now that we're learning the shit we're learning now.
Yeah. Well, today I looked up coagula, and it means to dissolve and combine, to
Right.
dissolve and coagulate. These people, they transplant white consciousness into black bodies. The black person's mind is pushed back into the sunken place. So they're alive, they're watching, they're powerless like that deer. This is the ultimate expression of exploitation. White culture consuming black bodies, stealing the strength, the style, the cool, but in this case, by erasing the person inside.
This is literally the ultimate of cultural appropriation. Not only do you take
Yes.
the people's culture, you take the body, their mind, their soul. They take everything. Because you remember in the scene of another great movie, Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee, there
Hmm.
was a scene at Sal's Pizzeria where Pookie, played by fucking Spike Lee, asked one of Sal's sons, "Why do you hate black people so much? But you love what they can do. Your favorite baseball player is black. Your favorite football player is black. Your favorite athletes in general are black. Favorite music, hip hop. Favorite actors, black. But you hate black people." And that my question to that is to the broader audience, like if black people and black culture is so inferior, why does the majority of white people fear it? And when black people separate and build their own because we're inferior, why do you have the tendency to burn it down to the ground? That's not just metaphorical, that actually happens on the daily. And that's a question that I think when, if a extraterrestrial were to pull me over, pick me up and pick me out, and they ask me, what is your experience living as a human being? I would ask them everything I just said. Why? Why does the other people who say we're really not much of anything, but we're so not much, you want it all? Everything that's created, everything that's built, everything that's made, everything that's celebrated, you take it and you bastardize it and you mutate it into something different. But then claim it's yours and it's an original. So I don't understand. But that's what this movie is telling us. Spike Lee said that shit back and Do the Right Thing. But yeah, this movie really gave you a physical manifestation of the real life shit that black folks live through.
Literal assimilation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, remember the deer from earlier?
Yeah, he comes back.
Oh, he does. When Chris finally fights back, first of all, they have him. He can hardly move. They drop him in a chair, and he's going to listen. And the next phase is going to take place. But throughout the movie, he's fidgets. He kind of scratches, and he starts scratching at the armrests on this chair. From the armrest, he picks cotton and puts
Ironic,
the
right?
cotton in his ears. So we get the picking cotton reference, but it saves him. And he sees on the wall a mounted deer head with antlers. He uses them to kill Dean, the man that hated deer. That hunter bastard becomes the hunted. And Jordan Peele, he fucking closes the circle. And meanwhile, Rod has been investigating because, again, he's the only man who knew something was fucking wrong, and he knew it from the start. In the final moment, when the police lights appear and we think the worst is going to happen, because in America, police lights behind a black man usually mean tragedy. This
Yes,
is the
sir.
same year that Black Lives Matters exploded, but instead, Rod steps out. And the audience I was with went nuts. They fucking started cheering. He's wearing his TSA jacket. Chris gets the hell out of there. Now, there was a different ending originally
Yeah.
that where the cops got out of the car and arrest Chris. And then it ends with him in jail talking to Rod through one of those barriers, those visitor barriers. And he tells him, look, man, it doesn't matter. I stopped it. And I'm kind of glad they went with the happy ending
I
because
am too.
after everything,
We needed at the time in real life and reality, like you said, during the Black Lives Matter movement and all the terrible shit, the Trayvon Martin, everything and all that. When all that
Mhm.
shit was going
Ugh.
on, you needed something that black people needed something to cheer for. And I'm glad that Jordan went that route. I cheered myself, but like I said, when we got up and went to use to take a piss, that shit got really real, and I did not want to be rude. That's another thing. It's social engineering as well. You're trained as a child, and I don't care what nationality you are, you're trained to be polite. So when,
Yes.
this movie happened and your brain is trying to deconstruct what you're just fucking dealt with while watching this movie for an hour and 44 minutes, then an old white man walks in and smiles at you and go, "Some movie, huh?" No, you don't want to talk to him. I'm sorry. You just don't. Here's a question. Do you remember who was the detective that Rod Williams, the character played by Lil Rel Howery, do you remember who that actress was?
No, not offhand.
She is Erica Alexander. She played in a little show that saved Fox Network called Living Single, which told the story of a group of young black people living in New York City, and they were friends, and it told about their ups and downs and their relationships and their lives living in New York. The TV show was so successful that NBC
She's
said,
a chick
"Hey,
from the Cosby Show, right?
yes," and
Okay, okay.
and and, and and they went, "We could do one better. We'll do the same show. We're gonna appropriate it. That's why I'm bringing this shit up and turn it into Friends. Friends, the only show about New York City that one black person, maybe two, lives in. And that these
I
white
didn't
people
see any.
they never had any interaction with any fucking black people on Friends. They had that one girl, she's a comedian, and she used to host a show called Whose Line Is It Anyway or something like that. But
Mhm.
that was it. But it's funny, I'm not really talking about their shows, it's the appropriation of the concept of living single being transformed into Friends, which is a cultural, iconic television show for white America. Because in this version of the MCU, black people didn't really exist. And they all sat in a living room. Seinfeld has some black people pop up once in a while or walking down the street
Every now and then.
or something. But this movie here really, I you can't tell me she didn't get hired just so that they have people like me go, "Oh yeah, Living Signal. That's why she's there." But yeah.
Man, this
Uh,
movie, one of the reasons it works is it blends three traditions. It takes classic horror, it takes the attitude of blaxploitation, and it takes modern social satire, and it blends them together like the films we love from the 70s. It uses genre to talk about something real. Blaxploitation cinema always knew this trick. Wrap the truth in entertainment,
yep.
then slip the message in the bloodstream.
Yeah, it's basically again the allegory. Once you get done watching the film, you go, "Oh, they're talking about white supremacy, huh?" And you're like,
Yeah,
"Yeah." They
it's
did
not
it with
just a horror film, it's a mirror. It's a
exactly.
reminder that racism, it hasn't disappeared.
No,
It got polite, smiling, educated, suburban, at least some of it. Because right
right.
now, some of it ain't so polite
It's
lately.
it's pretty out there in the open now. Now we got to see a film about it being just blatant, which is basically going back in time to the fucking last movie we did with Nigger Charlie. You know what I mean? We're doing that whole circle thing you said before. This is a film that again was made by a guy who was known for being a comedian on Key and Peele, but he took his real life angst being raised the way he was, dating and married the way he did, and he made a fucking film, which I think should have won Best Picture. The hell with Best Screenplay. That was just being polite. You want to talk about
Yeah,
polite racism? There you go.
yeah, this film should have won for Best Picture, but Jordan Peele is the first black man to win an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. So
Yes, he
we've got
did.
that.
Yeah, dude, and you got to take the wins when you can, even if it's, you know, like again, I said this for months now since we've been doing this podcast, how Sinners is nominated for the most Academy Awards in the history of the Academy Awards. That is going to be, in my opinion, the award that they're going to win. You didn't win none of the awards, but you were nominated for them. They're giving, they will give Sinners like a gimme, like maybe cinematography, costume design, something like that. But acting, the main ones, director, producer, no. It, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I'm living in the real world where I've seen weirder things happen. This movie here was, again, one of my favorite films, even though it's the most terrifying film. Um, it scares the shit. And I love The Exorcist. I love The Omen. Those shits are scary, and I dig them. Nothing scares me more than this film because I could go outside again and go to the local fucking Wawa and get a sandwich and have a guy, white dude, smile at me and go, "I hope you enjoy your sandwich." And I'm like, "What the fuck you put in my sandwich? I ain't eating this shit after you said some shit like that." And it's sad because I've been brainwashed. I was in the Sunken Place, and I know the evil. I'm like the shadow. I know the evil that men do, and it ain't good. It ain't good. I mean, dude, I don't have a big circle anymore, and you're like in a very small crowd of a circle of maybe 5 people in my life that I trust. Now I'm telling you this shit
Same,
on the internet,
same.
you know, online. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel that I'm worried about anything happening to me. I made it this far, you know, but it affected my life, and it still does to this day. My wife, you know, she found out about a lot of the shit I went through, and she thinks I carry, as she would put it, a cross, or I have this sword of Damocles hanging over my head. I'm always thinking the worst is gonna happen, and that's sad because, you know, there's times I can't really enjoy life because life is fun, but I still got that, dude. I still got that teacup rattling in my brain, bro.
Mhm. Oh, man. So, hey, folks out there, next time you're at a party, someone tells you, we're well past racism. There's no more prejudice. Just remember the words that Andre screamed when the flashbulb woke him up. Get out.
Get out. I agree. So if
Oh,
you
what are
like
we
this,
doing next?
you tell me, man.
Oh, man. We
I picked
definitely
this
jump
one. You
back.
pick the next one. What's the next one? We gonna jump back into some fucking Blaxploitation?
Yeah, I'm thinking we should do a pimp movie. Maybe we
How?
do
What was that? The Mac, maybe?
The Mac or Willie Dynamite or maybe Candy Tangerine Man.
Dude, I never heard of that.
See? There you
See?
go. I haven't seen
Well,
it. I know it's a pimp film and I love the title.
can I find it anywhere?
I will see if we can find it. If not, we'll do something else, but I'll figure
If
it
we
out in the
can't
next day
find
or
a
so.
Candy Tangerine Man, we'll do the Mac.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. And if we do find Candy Tangerine Man, we're still going to do the Mac. You might just have to wait a few extra weeks for it. Because
Yeah, that's
after
all.
that, I think maybe we get into sequel time.
Yeah, we got some sequel bait. We got a lot of sequels we can do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we do.
So
Yeah, we do.
we'll do Tangerine Man or the Mac, and then after that we'll get into a sequel like Scream Blackula, Scream, something like that. But
Yeah, Hell
or
Up in Harlem.
Hell Up in Harlem. Wow, another good one.
Yeah, there's some
So
great stuff coming up,
so we
folks.
got a
So
lot of stuff we can pick from, ladies and gentlemen, cool cats, sexy mamas out there who are down with the cause.
mm,
You know, come back and join us. And if you like what we're doing, you're picking up what we're laying down, give us a rating. See us on Facebook. See us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And I promise, when we finally get close enough and the weather gets better and we can be in the same room at the same time to save us on bandwidth, we're going to do it on video. I have people asking us if we can go to their shops and actually do the podcast live there.
Yeah, we're
So,
planning a live show. We'll let you all know about that when it's ready, and we will live stream that one. I think I can figure out how to do that.
or you can do it. We can probably even do it on Facebook as well. So it'll be fun.
Oh yeah,
We'll
we'll
pick.
stream it we'll stream it on Facebook, we'll stream it on YouTube, and then we'll put it up the next day.
So yeah. So there's the
Perfect.
things where you can find this and what we plan on doing in the future. So, give us a shout out, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe, share it. And again, I drink my coffee black. I steer away from teacups anymore. so, so check us out again, same black time.
Same black channel.
Peace.
Peace.
Easy now, no rush. They see you stay. Stay.
Easy now, easy now. Don't rush. They see you. Stay. Walking clean, suit press right. Every eye said you're alright. Hands too warm, smiles too wide, like they knew you long before you arrived. Sip that cup, slow your pace. Everybody loving your taste. Say your name like it's gold, but the room feel a little too controlled. They lean in when you speak, but they don't hear a thing. There's a weight underneath every word that you bring. Something don't sit right. Don't clap too soon. Woo! Don't trust that room. Every smile got a shadow coming for you. Flash go off, now you freeze. Drop slow, can't feel your knees. Hear your voice far away, like somebody else trying to use your name. Hands on you, light and kind, but they're moving past your mind. Every second, feel rehearsed, like you stepped into a line already cursed. They love how you move, they study your skin. They don't want you, they want what you're in. Don't clap too soon. Don't trust that room. Don't trust that room. They already chose you before you knew. Wait. Stay. You feel it now, don't you? Pulling you down. One move, eyes still open, no control. They're reaching deep for your soul. Say something you can't speak. Try to run, but your feet ain't yours. Don't clap too soon. Don't trust that room. They smile while they take you right out of you. Don't lose your name. Don't play that game. If you feel that pressure, break that chain. Get out, 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 get out. If you hear that voice inside, get out. Don't let it die. Stay.